I have been using the iPad Air M2 for a few months now, and I'll have to say, this device is amazing. When Apple launched the iPad Air M2, it was marketed as powerful yet a more affordable alternative to the iPad Pro. But is it really worth it in 2025? Well, that's exactly what we're gonna find out today. Don't miss this video, as today we are taking a deep dive into its features, performance, and hidden surprises of the iPad Air M2. My name is Prithviraj and I create videos on productivity, tech, and life. I have mostly been using my iPad Air for watching videos on YouTube and Netflix. Also, I've been using it as my primary productivity device in order to manage my life, as I use my daily planner template on GoodNote 6 to keep a track of everything, and also managing my YouTube channel from apps like Notion. I occasionally like to edit photos and videos using apps like Lightroom, Procreate, and DaVinci Resolve. This has been my primary device of choice while traveling. I recently attended Lollapalooza India here in Mumbai, and it has been my primary computer for the most parts. Also, I had a blast attending the Green Day concert here. I was carrying my MacBook Pro cause I had to edit this video, the one that you're currently watching. But other than that, I haven't really used my MacBook. I've been using my iPad Air for every single thing. Also, it's the perfect device for long flights, and it's also of the perfect size. You won't have any space issues even when you're traveling in economy class like myself. Yeah, I know I'm broke. I had plenty of content loaded up offline. Even when I'm using the 128 gig storage variant, I haven't faced any storage issues. But all in all, my experience using this device has been fantastic so far, and I absolutely love it. Speaking of the design, you get an aluminum chassis, squared off edges, and an edge-to-edge display, which feels modern and premium. And also, I got the Apple Pencil Pro along with it. We will talk about this a little bit later. We have the speaker grills and the power button on top. The power button is also the fingerprint scanner, or Touch ID as Apple likes to call it. On the left, we have the volume buttons as well as the magnet for connecting your Apple Pencil. At the bottom, we again have the speaker grills and the USB Type-C port, of course. And as usual, we have a whole lot of nothing on the left side. The iPad Air M2 features an 11-inch Liquid Retina display with a resolution of 1640 by 2360 pixels. The display is absolutely stunning, and it's one of the main reasons why the iPad Air remains such a compelling device. The colors are vibrant, text is sharp, and it also has 500 nits of brightness. Watching movies, editing videos, or even reading articles feel fantastic on this screen. But here's where the things get tricky. While the display is great, it's not a promotion display like that of the iPad Pro. That means we are limited to a refresh rate of 60Hz. For most people, this won't really be a deal breaker, but if you have used a 120Hz display like the one in iPad Pro or some other high-end smartphones, you will obviously notice the difference. And this surely has been a major drawback for me. I really wish it had a 120Hz display. The problem with tablets many of the times is that they often lack a bit in terms of the sound department. Either they increase the sharpness too much, else they simply lack the depth and the warmth in the sound. But here on the iPad Air, everything sounded very balanced. I personally like the clarity of the sound. So yeah, listening to music on this device is check. Not the loudest of the tablets, but it went decently loud, I must say. But overall, it really features a great video as well as an audio setup. I had a great time binge watching my favorite content on Netflix and YouTube. So in terms of entertainment side of things, the iPad Air M2 will have you covered. Also, we are so close to hitting 100k subs on this channel. I would really appreciate if you could consider hitting that subscribe button. Would help me out a lot. Now let's dive into the business end of the device, and also the real star of the show, and that's the M2 chipset. Apple has essentially taken the same chip found in MacBook Air and the iPad Pro and brought it to this more budget-friendly device. So what does that mean for performance? Well, it's a huge leap over already capable M1. The M2 chipset features faster processing speeds and better graphics performance. Whether you're editing 4K videos on LumaFusion or DaVinci Resolve, or you're running graphics-heavy games on this device, the M2 chipset can handle it all without breaking a sweat. For creatives, this is where the M2 shines. Here's the benchmark scores on Geekbench in case you're interested into stuff like that. And as you can see, the performance was insane. Using apps like Procreate, Lightroom, or Resolve feels super responsive. If you're a digital artist or a video editor, this upgrade is a game changer. But here's the real question. Do you actually need the M2 chipset? For most people, the M1 chipset was already an overkill for everyday tasks, like watching videos or browsing the web. The M2 chipset is definitely a lot more powerful, but unless you are doing heavy creative work or gaming, you may not notice a huge difference in daily usage. And speaking of gaming, I had an amazing time gaming on this device. As usual, I tested out games like BGMI, Asphalt, Brawl Stars, and many more. I absolutely liked the overall gaming experience on this device. Faced no frame drops and stuff. And like I previously mentioned, the only thing I want now for the iPad Air is to have a 120Hz display. The M2 chipset paired with the 120Hz display could have been an absolute game changer. Also, the multitasking experience was great on this device. Didn't face any lags and other issues. But while playing graphics heavy games, it did get heated up during extended sessions. Paired with the Apple Pencil Pro, the photo editing experience using Lightroom on the iPad was super therapeutic. Now let's talk about the cameras. It features a 12 megapixel wide rear camera. The front camera though features center stage, a feature that automatically adjusts focused in order to keep you in frame during video calls. This was necessary, although we have the front camera in the horizontal bezel, but it's not really in the center as you can see. It's slightly shifted to the left side, and I can understand why Apple did this. Rather, they had to do it, cause without that we won't be able to connect our Apple Pencil magnetically. So yeah, it was really necessary. Even though the camera is not in the center, it will at least feel like you are looking straight in the camera without having to like be like this, you know. And this is a back camera sample video on why am I addicted to this thing, I have no idea. In terms of battery, it features a 7606 mAh battery, and we also get a 30 volts charger right outside the box. Apple promises up to 10 hours of web browsing or video playback, and in my testing it pretty much holds up. If you're just doing your typical day-to-day tasks like browsing the web or watching videos, this tablet will easily last an entire day of usage. In terms of the note-taking experience on the device, you can get the Type-C Apple Pencil if you're looking for a cheaper option, but I personally am not a fan of the Type-C Apple Pencil, hence I got the Apple Pencil Pro. But the Apple Pencil Pro would be crucial if you're into digital art, or maybe if you're a student and you're looking for a tablet for note-taking. The Apple Pencil Pro attaches magnetically to the side of the iPad Air for super easy pairing and charging, and that's of course super convenient as well. The latency using the Apple Pencil Pro is almost non-existent, and the pressure sensitivity is spot on, whether you're doing detailed sketches, annotating PDFs, or even taking notes. For students, this is actually a great way to take notes and organize your studies. Apps like GoodNotes 6 or Notability will work seamlessly, and the M2 chipset ensures even the most complex files open and render smoothly. Rather, even the default Notes app, which is Apple Notes, really works out great. I have loaded up my daily planner template on GoodNotes 6. You can simply import the PDF into your favorite Notes app and get started into daily planning. It has 3 different views for daily, weekly, as well as monthly planning, and also 2 different themes for both light mode as well as dark mode. So you can pick the one you like and get started. I highly recommend that you try out daily planning. It will help you stay a lot more productive and accountable, and help you achieve all your daily goals in the end of the day. Rather, if you're looking for a free app which features infinite canvas, then Freeform is a great default app for that. Also, I feel Freeform is very underrated. I would love to create a dedicated video on this very soon. However, please keep in mind that the Apple Pencil Pro is sold separately, which adds to the overall cost. But if you're a creative professional or a student who has to take notes by hand, and then definitely it's worth the investment, I have to say. And also, I have been getting many comments on my past videos where people have been reporting heating issues on their iPad Air M2, specifically when using with Apple Notes. And to be very honest, I haven't really faced this issue myself. It only overheated when I was editing videos or maybe playing games for extended sessions. But while note-taking and stuff like that, I didn't really face any issues. And moreover, I personally prefer using GoodNotes 6 for note-taking, and it worked very smoothly. But since many people have been commenting about this issue, I thought of pointing it out, but I haven't faced this issue myself. Now, talking about the price, here's a screenshot of the current pricing of the iPad Air 11 on Amazon India, and here's a screenshot of the Apple Pencil Pro as well. Alright, so we have covered a lot, but it's now time for the final question. Is the iPad Air M2 still worth it in 2025? It's not really at the budget segment, but it's far more affordable than the iPad Pro. You're getting most of the Pro features like the M2 chipset without spending upwards of $1,000. For students and professionals looking for a device that is powerful, portable, and capable of serious work, this is the ultimate option, I must say. However, if you already have the iPad Air M1, the upgrade to M2 might not be significant, unless you need that extra power for specific tasks like video editing or intense gaming. But if you're coming from an older iPad model, or if this is your first iPad, then for this aspect, the iPad Air M2 is a solid upgrade, and it could easily serve as your main computing device. But in case the iPad Air M2 is out of your budget as of now, then please do not worry. Click here on this video, and over there we have discussed more about the iPad 10th Gen in more details. See you there.